fashion, electronically or otherwise, except by the court's official court reporter, who will be recording and transcribing this proceeding just like he would do if we were having this hearing in person, which of course we are not doing. That's with those pronouncements out of the way. Ms. Rankin, on behalf of the department, are you ready to proceed?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Fay, you're the item for the children. Are you ready to proceed?
Getting ready.
And Rebecca Martinez, are you ready to proceed this morning?
Yes, sir.
And just for the record, you are the mother of the children?
Yes, sir.
And Joseph Martinez, you are a senior. Are you the father of the children?
Yes, sir.
And are you ready to proceed?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Rebecca Martinez, can you reposition perhaps back just a little bit so we can see you and Mr. Martinez there? Are you using a laptop?
Yes.
Pull the top there. There you go. Thank you. Let me have some background information from Ms. Rankin and Ms. Fay, if appropriate, and you may, I will give you a chance also, Mr. and Mrs. Martinez, to give me some information. And then we'll talk about what we need to do, if anything, in the way of a formal hearing this morning. Background, Ms. Rankin.
Yes, Judge. The background is the department came involved with this case because the children were getting out of the respondent's apartment, going to the daycare, to restaurants, and to other apartments, looking for food, and were being unsupervised. These are 3 young children that don't, we're talking the ages 3, 4, and 5 range. And we had worked services with the respondents. They had completed their service plan, and we had started a monitored return. And that's when law enforcement discovered the 3 children at a Dairy Queen unsupervised and had left the residence while the respondents were asleep. And so at this time, the department has disrupted the monitored return. The children are back in care, and the department seeking termination of parental rights.
All right. Ms. Fay, do you concur that that's basic background?
I do, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. and Mrs. Martinez, without asking you to acknowledge or admit that any of that is true, do you agree that that is the basic allegation that has been made?
Partially. It was only the 2 boys that were found the last time. My daughter was in school.
Okay. All right. Then, as we discussed very briefly just before we got on the record, it's my understanding that since the department is disrupting or changing, ending or trying to end the monitored return of the children to you, and instead are proceeding with a petition that includes a request that the parental rights be terminated, each of you are asking for a court-appointed attorney. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
And is it your request that the 2 of you have one attorney between the 2 of you, one attorney to represent both of you? Is that your request?
Yes.
And is that your request, Mr. Martinez?
Yes, it is.
And are you telling me that you're making that particular request for one attorney for both of you because your interests are so closely aligned that they are the same interest, and one attorney can take care of your claims? I don't mean claims, your position better than having 2 attorneys who might have different plans, different ways of handling things. Is that what you're telling me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right. Let me ask you to either chat with me or send me a message telling me who is the next attorney on our rotation. And while she is doing that, I had just so the record will reflect there are 3 other attorneys in the virtual courtroom, just like we would have them present if we had in-person hearings while they are waiting for their case to be heard. Right. Brooks, the rotational system we use indicates you're the next attorney on the rotation. Do you know of any conflict that exists with what you have heard or seen about this case so far?
I just have the names, Your Honor. Is it Rebecca and
Joseph
Joseph Martinez? I'll have to check with our legal assistant if that's okay.
Certainly.
Okay.
I'm Mr. and Mrs. Martinez. I'm granting your request to appoint an attorney, and if there is no conflict, and we do that in every case, we check to make sure that there's not some other interest that the attorney has been involved with that would conflict with your interests, just to make sure we don't appoint somebody who would be representing somebody that would already be in a different position than yours. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let me see what we're getting. While we're doing that check, Ms. Rankin or any of the other attorneys, what do you suggest we should take up next? Which case?
The Martinez with the 5 children. And I believe that could be called with also the Martinez with the young baby that's separate.
Yes, the baby is a different father, but he should be there.
Who said that?
Me. That's my sister-in-law.
Oh. Do you have call numbers there, Ms. Rankin? I have the 5 children that we're talking about is 26,839.
Yes, sir. And the
Mr. Keith and Ms. Fay are in that case.
I don't believe there's a conflict.
All right. Mr. and Mrs. Joseph and Rebecca Martinez, I'm going to appoint the attorney Morgan Brooks to represent you. We will send see if I can do this, Mrs. Brooks. Let me see if I can get you and Mr. and Mrs. Martinez in a breakout room, and so you can exchange information so that Mr. and Mrs. Martinez, you'll know how to contact your attorney and make arrangements for that to occur.
Yes, sir.
And then when y'all are through, you will come back into this hearing and we will be in recess. We are in recess in your case now. I don't believe there's anything else that we're going to do today. Or Ms. Rankin? Go ahead, Ms. Rankin.
Because we were set for a permanency hearing today as well, we have this moved to the February 8th setting so that we can stay in compliance.
Ms. Brooks, do you have scheduling conflicts with that?
In the afternoon, I do. I don't know what time you're looking at.
We're talking about morning, but the bigger question is whether or not we have enough time in the morning. Yeah.
Your Honor, my morning is very, very full on the 8th.
You have an early morning hearing here in one of our AG cases.
Yes, sir. And then I'm going straight into 3 pleas in Judge Harrison's and then an enforcement in Judge Harrison's.
Okay. Is there another date in February, Ms. Rankin, that
I believe the 17th I have it open.
that's our Attorney General Day. Usually, although it is fully set, we have some time before we would get into actual hearings. Mrs. Fay, Ms. Brooks, what would the 17th do?
I'm available in the early morning of the 17th. I have something starting at 10:30 and I'm full after that.
I'm available at that time.
Just to be on the safe side, Ms. Rankin, when y'all say early, are we talking 8:30? Would that be too early for all of you, including you, Ms. Rankin?
I can be available at 8:30 if it's by Zoom.
Yes.
Judge?
Your Honor.
Yes, sir.
Judge,
Yes, sir.
are you able to hear me?
Yes, sir.
Forgive me for interrupting you. I need to step out of this hearing for about 5 minutes and make a quick appearance in a permanency hearing for Judge Probst, and then I'll be right back.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Then let's reset the case with Joseph and Rebecca Martinez and the department for February 17 at 8:30. Thus, Mr. and Mrs. Martinez, that will give you a little over just over 2 weeks to consult with your attorney and begin to start preparing how to address this case. Yeah, I didn't ask you, Mr. and Mrs. Martinez, does February 17 at 8:30 create any scheduling problems for either one of you?
No, we should be fine.
All right. Then I will appoint Ms. Brooks as your attorney and reset this case for the morning of February 17 at 8:30.
Your Honor, we can do it as long as I'm out by 9 o'clock because I have counseling that's court ordered by y'all, by the department.
We can reschedule that counseling
Okay.
because the hearing may take more than 30 minutes.
Okay.
So
If that's the date, that's fine. I just need to know that way because I do counseling tomorrow and I can let them know to reschedule for another day. But if that's what you are set on, that's fine.
Ms. Rankin, will you make sure that that's taken care of?
Yes, Judge, I'm emailing the caseworker right now.
All right. So we'll reschedule that February 17 counseling for you, Ms. Martinez.
Okay, thank you.
In the meantime, you talk to your attorney, Ms. Brooks, and any questions that you have, anything that position you want to advance, you talk to your attorney about that.
Okay.
All right. Do either one of you have any questions?
No, sir.
Then thank you. You are excused, and I will take care of you being out of the room, is the expression.
Your Honor,
Okay.
can you put us in a brief breakout room so we can exchange information real quick?
Okay. Sorry.
That's okay.
Mr. and Mrs. Brooks, you will be in a new Zoom room where just you and your attorney will be able to see you and hear what you're saying. Okay?
All right.
All right. Let me get that going.
Hello? Yes, ma'am.
And we were talking about the two Martinez cases, two other Martinez cases. One of them is the other one, the child is Rosario Martinez Avila.
Yes, sir. That's the one that would go with the Martinez with the 5 children.
Okay. The Martinez Avila child is cause number 26,972. And Ms. Fay and Mr. Keith are the attorneys in those two cases. All right. So that's going to be Maria Celeste Martinez and Paul Garcia and Juan Martinez, Senior. Is there anybody else?
No, sir. And we do have Juan Martinez's signature on the proposed order, but I believe if he is in the wait room, then it'd be good to have him present.
Okay, I don't
And if
know.
you could also admit Kelsey Zimmerman, please.
Okay, what happened to Mr. Keith?
He was having trouble with his audio, so it looked like he signed off to retract.
All right.
I'm guessing.
We're guessing that Mr. Keith signed off to retry. I don't see Ms. Riker's visual, but what about the McKnight case?
We could take that up quickly.
Then let's do that while we're trying to get Mr. Keith back on.
If you'll Mr. Marquise wanted to appear, and so I told him I would call real quick and let them know to log in. So if you can hold on just a second.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Is Melanie McKnight in the waiting room?
That's just what I'm looking at. Yes, she is.
Okay.
Is that, yeah, that's your client, Ms. Rice?
Yes, sir.
I'm admitting her now. If we can get her up on the screen.
And could you please admit Kelsey Zimmerman and Kristen Hurst?
Yes, ma'am. Doing that now. Ms. McKnight is having some difficulties. I think she needs to swipe it to the across the screen. Is it click on join with audio?
He was at forward twice.
Well, she can still see it.
Kristen, do you mind texting Miss McKnight and let her know she needs to swipe to click on audio, please? I believe Marquise is now in the waiting room.
Who is?
Marquise, the child.
Where is the child?
He said Audrey Grace and
Okay.
Abilene.
I have an Audrey Grace, but I don't have the child's name.
Yes.
How old is the child?
14.
And is that acceptable to you, Ms. Brooks? For
Yes,
the
but
child?
yes, he requested it.
Okay. We're having, this night is still having difficulty. Good morning. Is this Marquise?
Yes.
How are you this morning?
Good.
Are you able to see your attorney on the screen?
Yes.
And now it looks like Ms. McKnight, are you with us? Nope. Ms. McKnight, can you hear us?
How far is she from the CPS office in Snyder? We have someone there set up to help people with Zoom.
Kristen, we can't hear you. Do you know how far Melanie is from the CPS office?
There she is. Ms. McKnight, can you hear us now? You're on, well, let's see if I can unmute her. I might not be able to. Ms. McKnight, you need to unmute. You have joined, but you've got to unmute, and I don't remember how to. Now, can you hear us, Ms. McKnight? Could she possibly have the camera reversed? Try turning your camera around. There's a device to reverse it, but just try turning it around so we can see, so you can look at the back side of the camera with your face. There. Can you hear us? She must hear us. She turned it around. Ms. McKnight, there you go. Now then, are you able to hear us? But apparently you are still muted.
Melanie, turn your camera around. Okay, now we see your face. Leave it like that. And then, can you hear us? We can't hear you.
What's the solution for an iPhone?
Leave your camera turned around, Melanie. Leave it like that.
Judge,
Yes.
I think either she isn't connected to the audio really, or she has a microphone issue. I don't know what kind of phone she has.
I don't either. Ms. McKnight, nod your head, yes or no. Do you have an iPhone? Do you have an Android system phone? Thank you.
Not the volume.
We're working on a solution to help you so that we can hear what you have to say. And we means my coordinator. Trey has an iPhone, doesn't he? Oh, well, he's. Does anybody know how to activate the audio on an Android phone?
If you swipe over, it should show where it says connect with audio or call in with audio. So swipe all the way over where you don't see people's faces, and you just click on it and it says tap to talk or tap to speak. I guess I'm the only one with an Android.
Oh, good.
Were you able to find that, Melanie?
No, we can't hear you yet. And we can't see you either. So maybe. What kind of hearing are we going to have in this case?
A permanency before final after a disruption of a monitored return.
And so it is a contested proceeding.
I don't believe it's contested. But we do not have Mr. Tippins present, so we'll need to put.
All right. Ms. Riker, do you believe your client is in agreement with proposals for this morning?
Yes, Your Honor, as long as it's what we talked about with Ms. Rankin on Thursday. Ms. McKnight and I both joined in on a conference to confer with Ms. Rankin before this hearing. So I think we're all in agreement. If that's the case, we really wouldn't need her audio. I can just speak for her.
Ms. McKnight, let me see your face again, please.
Melanie, turn your camera around. Leave it on your face. Turn it around.
Ms. Zimmerman, do you know how to tell her to reverse the camera? Does she go to camera and
Oh, there you go.
Leave it like that.
Ms. McKnight, would you give me a nod of the head, yes, or a shake, no? Can you hear your attorney when she speaks to you? And is it agreeable for you, for your attorney to speak for you this morning? Then I'm going to proceed. If, Ms. Zimmerman, anything is said that is a problem, either raise your hand or shake your head so that your attorney can see that you are not agreeing. Is that acceptable? All right, we receive a nod, an affirmative nod. So let's go. I call cause number 26,625 for the case styled in the interest of Marcus McKnight or Marquise McKnight, a child. This is a permanency hearing before final. This hearing is being conducted by remote video teleconferencing technology using the Zoom protocol. It is also being live streamed on the court's YouTube channel, all to comply with Texas Supreme Court orders and Office of Court Administration directives. Since it is being electronically presented, the court orders that no one make a recording of this proceeding in any manner, electronic or otherwise. No one is allowed to record this proceeding except the court's official court reporter, who is with us in this Zoom conference. And he will do so just like he would do and would do if we were in an in-person hearing, which of course we are not. With that, for purposes of this hearing, what says the department, Ms. Rankin?
Department's present and ready. I'm here with to engage Representative Kristen Hurst.
All right. And on behalf of Melanie McKnight, Ms. Riker, you're the attorney for Ms. McKnight. Are you and your client ready to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor.
And we've established, and Ms. McKnight is nodding her head affirmatively, that she is present and ready, just as we confirmed, even though we are having difficulty hearing her audio, she is able to hear the audio coming from this conference. Ms. Brooks, you're the ad litem for Marcus. Are you ready to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Marcus is with us as well by this Zoom video conference. And we have already welcomed him this morning. Roland Tippins, who has previously been established as the parent, the father of the child, has not appeared. As I recall, he may have appeared at the very first hearing and has not appeared since, even though he has been provided notice of these hearings. And so he is in a post-appearance default. With that, Ms. Rankin, you may proceed.
Department calls Kristen Hurst.
Would you raise your right hand and be sworn as a witness? Ms. Hurst, do you solemnly swear that the testimony you may give in this cause shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, So help you God. We did not hear you, Ms. Hurst. Did you click on join with audio? Try that again. Still can't hear you. It may be best for you to step out of the video hearing and rejoin and join with audio when you do.
Can you dial in using your phone?
I received an email saying the Supreme Court was holding oral arguments by Zoom today. I wish upon them the same good fortune with Zoom that they have provided to us.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
Now?
ma'am.
Okay.
Success. All right, Ms. Hurst, you have been sworn in as a witness in this case. Let me check. Did the court reporter get her affirmative to the oath? All right, Ms. Rankin, you may proceed.
Yes, can you state your full name?
Kristen Hurst.
And are you the permanency case manager for Marquise McKnight?
Yes.
Where is he currently placed?
Audrey Grace House.
Are you asking the court to approve that placement?
Yes.
Have you had contact with Mr. Tippins?
Yes.
And have you had contact in the last 30 days?
Yes.
Did you ask him if he was willing to work any of the services on his service plan?
Yes, I did.
And did he state he was willing or unwilling?
Unwilling.
Is placement with Mr. Tippins an option at this time?
No.
Are you asking this court to find that he is not in compliance with his service plan?
Yes, ma'am.
Is placement with Mrs. McKnight an option?
No.
And in the last week, you're going to look into whether or not to engage would be able to place at Pegasus to address some of the specific needs for the child. What were your results?
I'm submitting the paperwork today, and our department that handles placement will look into placing him at Pegasus.
Are there any medical or health concerns that need to be addressed?
Not at this time.
And are there any education concerns with the child?
I don't believe so.
Is he passing his grades?
Last I checked, he was, but with this move, it may have kind of disrupted school. I haven't been able to check on his grades yet.
Is Miss McKnight in compliance with her service plan?
Yes.
And are you asking the court to make that finding?
Sorry, could you repeat that?
Are you asking the court to make the finding that she is in compliance?
Yes.
Pass the witness.
Riker?
Thank you. Kristen, just one question. Do you know how long it will take to get an answer on the Pegasus program?
I'm hoping by the end of the week, once I submit this paperwork. But as soon as I get an update, I will let everybody know.
Thank you. Pass the witness.
Ms. Brooks, do you have any questions of this witness?
Just one quick on Pegasus. When you spoke to someone who worked there, is that correct?
No, ma'am.
Oh, okay. So you just have the paperwork for it?
We have a common app that we use for placement for all our children. And our placing department would submit that.
So we're not 100% aware that there are beds available. Is that correct?
Not yet. No, ma'am.
Okay. No further questions.
Anything further, Ms. Rankin?
Nothing.
Ms. Riker, anything further?
Yes, sir. If there's not a bed available at Pegasus, what is your plan for this child?
We would look at other facilities, or if Pegasus said that there would be a bed coming available, keeping him at Audrey Grace until something's available at Pegasus.
Thank you. Pass the witness.
Ms. Brooks?
No questions, Your Honor.
Ms. Rankin, anything further?
No, sir.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Hurst. You may call your next witness.
Department rests.
Ms. Riker, do you have any witnesses you wish to call?
No, sir.
Ms. Brooks, do you have any witnesses you wish to call?
No, sir.
May I ask Marcus a question? Marcus, can you tell us what your most recent grades have been?
99, 98, and 100.
Your last 6 weeks or last full grading period, what kind of grades did you make?
198. I gotta check.
I can speak on. I'm sorry. I can speak on behalf of that.
Well,
so we are waiting for his.
Hold on. You need to be called as a witness to speak.
Yes, sir.
And I'm willing for somebody to call this witness if they want to. Tell me your name there with Marcus.
I'm Carly Core. I'm his Audrey Grace House case manager.
Spell your last name.
COOR.
And you say Core?
Yes, sir.
All right. Ms. Core, raise your right hand and be sworn as a witness. Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you may give in this cause shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Thank you. Ms. Core, what is Marcus' grades from his last report card?
So we don't have the ones from his last report card because that was in Snyder, but I can tell you that we are waiting for his transfer ARD to put him back into the services that he was receiving at Snyder. And I can tell you when that will be. I'm sorry, I'm double checking. Oh, it'll be Thursday. So that he'll have those services. I believe he was in the PALS class at Snyder. That was what we had put him in before he left Audrey Grace House this past time.
All right. But as far as his grades in school are going, I would gather from Marcus's testimony to us that his grades are very satisfactory. Is that correct?
I can look them up right now.
I thought you knew.
Well, I don't have them off the top of my head. I apologize. They are not popping up at all, and I am not sure why. Once I have them, I'll pass them on to Kristen.
That's fine. Marcus, I thank you for telling me what your grades were. They sound like they're pretty good grades. Anybody have any questions for Ms. Core while she's on the stand? Nobody having any? Thank you. Anybody have anything else they wish to present? Ms. Rankin?
No, sir.
Ms. Riker?
No, sir.
Ms. Brooks?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Riker, do you and your client agree with the department's recommendation as stated really by Ms. Hurst?
Yes, Your Honor, that was our agreement, was to look into the Pegasus program, and just hoping that pans out.
All right. Ms. Brooks, on behalf of your client, Marquise, sorry, sir. Do you concur or agree with the department's plan?
Yes, Your Honor, I do. And I spoke to Marquise yesterday about it, and I do believe, or we believe, it's in his best interest at this time.
Then I find that the father, Roland Tippins, is not in compliance. I find that Melanie McKnight is in compliance. I approve the recommendation that the current placement continue with the understanding or the requirement that To Engage will continue to explore the Pegasus program for Marquise. Anything else, Ms. Rankin?
Judge, will you require a 10-day letter? Because I believe I have the attorney's signatures, just not Mr. Tippins.
No, I don't. That will, if it has the attorney's signatures, I will accept that.
Okay.
Thus, further, I suppose, further assuring that which the attorneys have agreed to is the order that I'll sign because it has your signatures on it. Is that acceptable, Ms. Riker?
Yes, sir.
And Ms. Brooks?
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Marquise. That concludes our hearing today in your case, and you may be excused. Thank you, Ms. Core. All right. Let's proceed to the Martinez cases. Probably. Mr. Keith, do you know if your client is going to join in these? Oh, and let me also excuse Ms. McKnight. Thank you for being with us this morning.
All right.
There we go. Now we hear you. I'll take care of it, Ms. McKnight. Thank you.
Judge,
Yes.
I don't expect Maria to attend. I tried to check with her just last night with the most recent cell number I had for her, and I was not able to get a response. So if she's going to attend, it's going to be because the caseworker facilitated her participation somehow, but it won't be because of me.
Okay. Who is her caseworker?
Kelsey Zimmerman.
Okay. Have you conferred with her, Ms. Zimmerman?
Judge, I have not been able to get in communication with her. I've messaged her and have not heard back anything.
Okay.
And I tried yesterday to let her know about court again and have not heard anything back.
All right.
Dolores has e-filed now this morning an order with all of the signatures for the Martinez with the 5 children.
That includes Juan?
We have one signature. We do not have the signature for Paul for the Martinez Avila. And so if we could take that one up.
Let me admit what I think is Juan Martinez and make sure that that is who we're talking about. He's been waiting a good while. I don't see him in front of the camera and he doesn't have his audio. But you already have his signature?
Yes, sir.
And so in that particular case, you believe you have the signature of all parties?
Yes, we have Mr. Keith's signature, I believe, as to form, not to content.
That's what I meant by all parties that are representatives of all parties. And Ms. Fay, that's you're the ad litem. Is that your understanding as well?
Yes, sir.
All right, then there's, are you Juan Martinez?
Hello?
Are you Juan Martinez?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Martinez, it was just being discussed that everybody has agreed to the order that would be entered in with respect to your 5 children. Are you in agreement? Have you signed an order?
Yes, sir, I have. I did yesterday.
Okay. And is that at least one of the children there with you?
Yes, she's sick.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear she's sick.
Yeah.
All right, sir. Then I'm going to approve the agreement you've reached, and I'm going to sign the order because it also has the signatures of all the other attorneys. And
Sounds
with
good.
that, I thank you for your patience, and you may be excused. You no longer have to sit there in front of your camera.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. I'll take care of it. You'll be leaving us. Have a good day.
You too. Thank you.
Yes, sir. All right. Then let's before we take up this other Martinez child case, what's the situation with the Gutierrez case? Ms. Rankin? Is it contested? Is it agreed? Is it?
I believe it'll be agreed.
Ms. Brooks, is that your understanding?
I believe that Christina and I talked yesterday, so I just wanted to check in and see if she'd heard anything, but I can.
I don't see her or Mr. Gutierrez in the waiting room.
I was gonna let her know we're about to start, so I thought you were doing Martinez, so I'll
I
tell.
will. Go ahead and do that, and I'll start Martinez.
Okay, thank you.
What is the status of Paul Garcia? Do we know? I have a Patty Garcia
That
name.
could be, well, no, we also have, that could also be Garcia for our Garcia case.
Could be Garcia for which case?
The Garcia case.
I don't have a Garcia case.
It's Ibarra, isn't it? The baby.
Yes.
Garcia.
But I think the actual name on the petition is Ibarra.
That I don't have Ibarra for today. Do I? Hold on.
Did I just put on that one?
I think you're on the other one.
Okay.
There's one with one baby and then 3 others. All the same people.
For today. Is she ready to join?
I told her I would send her I would let her know if.
Okay, you give me a file also.
No, I have
Okay.
Ariela Nicole Garcia. 26876. That's who I was thinking the Garcia in the waiting room was.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Actually, you're right. You
And
said
not the one with 3.
You think it's what?
I believe that Ariela Nicole Garcia 26876. I believe that might be the Garcia that's in the waiting room,
That's the placement for Ariela.
the interveners.
I don't have that case.
I have that. We moved that case. That's our last hearing to today's date because the interveners were looking to replace Miss Reed.
and I filed an appearance on that yesterday. They did retain me.
Which, give me that cause number.
Let me get back to it.
It's 26876.
Stacy saying Ibarra.
No, that's a different number.
I have it as Ibarra, aka Garcia.
That case has 2 different numbers, does it not?
There's a new Ibarra case that was just added last week.
Which is 27015.
Yeah.
Yes, all those are set for 8:30 next February the 8th.
Next Monday.
What kind of case is the Garcia case today status?
This is the infant.
Yes.
26876. part of our confusion is, Ms. Rankin, we had conversations with your office, not with you, but with your office Friday, and went over with them which cases were scheduled for today. This case was not one of those cases. I say this case, 27-876, which is the Ariela Ibarra, also known as Ariela Garcia. It's difficult enough for us to do these things by Zoom. But then when we're presented with a case that we have no idea is set for today, because in conferring with your office, we're not told that it's set today. In fact, we go over what's set today and it's confirmed what is set today, and now we're told it's something else. That makes it extremely difficult. I have the Ariela Ibarra, also known as Ariela Garcia case in my hands, and Patricia Garcia, I suppose that's Patty Garcia, is one of the intervenors, now represented by Ms. Riker. Are we in a position to take up that case now, except the ad litem is Leanne Morris, and she's not here, but maybe can join us. Any response?
I haven't been back in to check the phone.
Okay. Why don't you go check?
I believe Miss Morris will be present on the 8th for the other Garcia Ibarra children, and if there's no objection to moving that to the 8th, so she can be present.
I'm okay with that because I believe we're also set for Mick on the 8th, so I will be in anyway, if that's the case.
Well, the 8th is when I have this particular case set. Let me see if Patty Garcia, I'm going to admit Patty Garcia, and Ms. Riker, you can tell her that we're setting it, assuming she gets in front of her camera. There she is.
Patty, can you hear us?
Yes.
Okay, so we're sorry about the wait. I believe we're going to be moving this one to February 8th. Will that work for you?
Yes, that should be fine.
That's next Monday.
Next month. Yes, that's fine.
All right. Well, I have Mr. Morris. Joining us. Good morning, Ms. Morris.
Good morning, Judge.
Sorry, we're there for some confusion over this particular case. Do we have everybody here right now that isn't involved in this case? We don't have Cassandra, and we don't have Joel Ibarra Gonzalez. Were they present at the last hearing when this was set?
No, sir. But I do anticipate that she'll be at the February 8th hearing because her other 5 children are set that morning following a removal.
This is a case that's been in existence longer than the 5 children removal case.
Yes, sir.
Well, what do
But
you
I
want?
think that's just, there's a possibility she'd be present. She wasn't present at our last hearing. I don't think she's been present at our last few hearings. And then the respondent father has never been present.
And are the children with the intervenors?
The child is, and
I'm
doing
sorry.
well in the department's wanting to continue that placement.
I'm sorry, I did say children and I meant child, since that's what we're talking about in this particular case. Is there anything wrong with us disposing of this case this morning?
And I'll
Or-
let Ms. Riker speak to that.
Do you mean disposing of this case as in closing this case?
No,
Do you mean just this particular hearing?
yes.
I don't think there are any issues with that. Your Honor, the father remains unfound and unserved. And I think, I think, and this is just me throwing around thoughts, but I think that the parents need attorneys. And we do have attorneys appointed to them on the companion case. So my recommendation would be to have those attorneys on this case as well so that we can move toward a final resolution in this case.
We did appoint, I'm going from recollection, we did appoint, I'm not sure that we did. There was confusion. We have a whole slew of new parties with the companion cases. There are cases, not just one. Arising out of the removal of the 5 children plus another child relative. So the question is, who is available to represent the mother? I believe we issued the orders without appointing an attorney, and one of the reasons was I didn't know who could possibly represent them among those that we regularly appoint or who are on our rotation. So who doesn't have a conflict?
So on the one that was just opened up last week with the Ibarra children, I think you appointed maybe Jeannie and Abra.
Jeannie Fuller was for the dad.
On the 3 kids?
Yes.
27015 or?
With Cassandra Garcia.
Yes, I was appointed to Miss Garcia on the Ibarra Garcia. I think it's like 270 something. Yeah.
27015.
I was appointed on that case last week, and I thought that was scheduled for next Monday at 8:30.
It is.
Okay.
Do you have any problems or any conflicts in continuing to represent Cassandra in this older case, which is cause number 26876, involving essentially a 9-month-old child? The original case involving Cassandra Garcia was about the removal of a infant. And I think that child is now 9 months old, born last April 2020. Do you know of any reason why you could not represent her in this case as well?
No, sir.
All right, if that hasn't already been accomplished, I'm appointing you to represent her.
And so is that, I'm sorry, is that case going to be next Monday as well?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, my only concern is the only case that I have over here with you next Monday is that 8:30 case. And that was because I have so many prior settings with Judge Harrison. So I just don't, like my time frame, I'm getting a little worried about.
Well, you're not the only one. I don't mean that flippantly. Quite frankly, I mean it seriously. But I would think we would be able to take up these cases at the same time because they're going to involve the same evidence.
Okay.
Do you have any opposition to that, Ms. Riker?
No, sir.
And Ms. Morris, you have been saddled as the ad litem for all of these kids because you are the ad litem for this infant of Cassandra Garcia's. The other children are the children of Cassandra Garcia. And that's why we went ahead and appointed you as the ad litem. Do you have, does it make sense to you, or do you have any objections to us hearing them together?
I don't have any objection to us hearing them together, Judge. I would just need placement info from the department as soon as I can get it, because we've requested it and I don't think we've received it yet.
All right. Ms. Rankin, you can take care of that?
Yes.
Thank you.
And Ms. Phipps, did we appoint an attorney for the father in that 27015 case?
Let me double check.
And Ms. Rankin, did we add the sixth child, a relative, a cousin, in the same cause, or is that another different cause?
No, those are two separate cause numbers. So we originally filed a removal without orders and then requested a removal with orders on 2 additional children. We were able to find them, and then we amended the pleadings one more time for the oldest sibling, Raina. And so she was included in that filing as well.
Does that make 5 children?
4 children under that cause number, 1 child under our cause number that we're discussing right now. But yes, 5 children for Ms. Cassandra Garcia.
And is there another child
There's 2 more. I'm sorry, Judge. There's 2 more that were removed.
Yes, so those are cousins. They're not in Cassandra Garcia's cause number. They're separate cause numbers.
What is that cause number?
Give me a second. The cause number for Serenity's case is 25402. And so that was filed into an older cause number that we had for that mother and Serenity's siblings.
And who is that mother?
That mother is...
It's Abigail Garcia.
Correct.
Do
And
we
the
have
father is Anthony
attorneys
PSO.
representing Abigail?
Well, I'm sorry, Judge and Ms. Riker. So that child, Serenity, her guardian is AJ Garcia, which is a sibling to Abigail and Cassandra. That's who her guardian is, but from what everyone had said and pretty much what everyone knows is that he doesn't want to deal with that child anymore. So I think his guardian though is AJ Garcia, but he just doesn't want to deal with the case anymore. He doesn't want to deal with the child anymore. So he had dropped her off at the grandmother's house, and that's when everything kind of went as it is now.
And the grandmother is Olivares?
Adela, yes, sir.
And I'm reasonably confident no attorneys have been appointed for the parents in that particular case. Shall I say the cousins cases? So
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know if you were speaking to me. I honestly don't know about any of that.
that's fine. I'm speaking to the whole panel.
I'm unsure, Judge. I'm unable to find in my share drive the filings that were returned. And so I'm going to have to check with my paralegal on that.
I'm getting information from my coordinator that is correct. No attorneys have been appointed in this recent action regarding the cousins case, the older cause number 25,000 something. So the question is, or no attorneys have been appointed for the parents. Okay, that's what I said. Among those of you who are gathered here this morning, who can represent those parents without a conflict? I wish you wouldn't all try to speak at once.
I think we're all involved in some way, correct? With the other cases?
Is Ms. Brooks? I don't believe Miss Brooks or Mrs. Fuller.
Judge, Ms. Fuller is in on the Garcia case, I believe, the first one.
In what capacity? I don't show her in that case.
She represents Father Joel Ibarra.
Even though he has not been served.
Yes, sir.
Can you tell, Kayla, from the old case, who represented Abigail? If any.
I can look that up. No, I can't look that up.
Judge, I don't believe she's had representation.
Okay. Well, these are not children of Joel Gonzalez. Does anybody see any conflict that would exist between Mrs. Fuller representing Joel Gonzalez and then representing one of the parents in the Cousins case? Who is the father?
I believe we don't know. I believe there's several
Three
listed
possible.
as possible.
Right. And well, Ms. Brooks, you're in that firm, and any conflict that existed to one of you exists to the other. But I don't see a conflict. And so,
Was Jeannie Fuller, though, the ad litem in the original case? Because I believe that that's where if my memory is correct, I believe that's where the conflict might be, is if she was the ad litem for the siblings to this child.
to which child?
The cousin that you were just asking about, Kiesa.
All right.
Abigail Garcia is the mother.
Abigail. Kayla, see if we can tell who the ad litem was. But in the old case, Kayla, the cause number 25,000 something that where you looked to see if Abigail had representation, who was the ad litem in that case?
But I only show Paul Scott to have been in that case, but he represented AJ, I believe. Let me go back and look again.
Okay. By the way, while Kayla is checking that, let me tell y'all that an attorney has opened an office in Snyder. Her name is Nancy Taft. She has moved here from her practice in the state of Washington. And I am informed, although I have not spoken to her, I am informed that her practice in the state of Washington involved probate and guardianship. I'm going to speak to her and see if she is interested in joining in all of the fun. Have any of you met her or encountered her? She just filed an appearance on behalf of the respondent in an attorney general's enforcement case, or maybe a cross petitioner in an AG enforcement case, something of that nature. So she has begun to practice. But I don't know her whether or not she is ready to take some CPS cases. The coordinator just told me that there was no other attorney in that earlier case except for Paul Scott. And so Mr. Scott, of course, is no longer available to us.
But who represented the children in the
we can't find any other attorney in the case. I don't have the file in front of me, and so I don't have it pulled up electronically. So I don't know. If there is, we will further explore that. Instead of taking time here, we explored it about as far as we can right here. We will further explore to see if there are any conflicts because of a representation of the child in that case, or children. And if there is none, then I will appoint Mrs. Hold on. The older case, 25402, was an AG case, not a CPS case. And so there may not have been an ad litem at all.
No, we had it on, and I'm sorry, I should have been more clear. We had a CPS case involving the siblings to Serenity. That is the cause number that I was trying to see if we had who that ad litem was.
But it was in that same.
Serenity was not a child in that suit. She was born during that case, and everything was handled outside of court as it related to that child.
But in cause number 25,402, was CPS ever previously involved in 25,402? We don't show your involvement in that cause number.
No, I believe there's a different cause number.
Okay, so it doesn't do us any good to look in that cause number. That's where we've been looking. We'll explore that further.
Okay.
And see about appointing attorneys in it for Monday. And we'll go from there. So, Ms. Garcia, you and your client, we're going to reschedule your intervention in the Ariela case for Monday morning at 8:30. Ms. Fay is now going to be in that case, as she is in the other case representing Cassandra Garcia, involving 5 other children. So it's not necessary. I thank you for your patience and for staying with us. But we will see you next Monday morning by Zoom.
Okay, and just really quick, I'm sorry to kind of clarify that. So Cassandra has a total of 5 children, including the infant that I have. So the other 2 are the cousins. Cassandra has 5 children.
Is Raina one of those?
Raina is her oldest. Yes, sir.
She's in the cause number already.
All right. So it's 4 children.
4 children plus the case that you just called, 26876, and 2 cousins.
All right. So I've been saying it slightly incorrect, and I thank you, Ms. Garcia, for that clarification.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
So we'll have Ariela's case Monday morning the 8th, and the other 4 children, which is in cause number 27015. And then the case apparently 25402 that involves 2 cousins. We'll hear those. We'll take those all up Monday morning at the same time at 8:30. And I will see about whether there are attorneys who can be appointed to represent the cousins' parents. And if they request to be in a separate proceeding, we'll address that at that time.
Okay.
All right.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
May I be excused, Judge?
Yes, and thank you, Ms. Morris.
Thank you, Judge.
May I be excused? I don't believe I have anything else.
Wait,
You have-
don't, Sanchez,
What is Sanchez?
don't we have some Sanchez this morning? If we don't, that suits me. For some reason, I thought we did.
Are you talking Matthew Sanchez?
Yes, yes, sir.
No, sir, he's not under any confused setting by us.
Well,
The
I'm
Did
certainly
show- He did
confused.
show for his test, and those results were filed. Did you receive those, Mr. Cook?
Yes, I received those results. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Wait a second. So am I just hanging around for the fun of it?
No, we still have the
Martinez.
Martinez.
Okay. Very good. Then I am still having fun. Thank you.
I think I'm all out of fun today.
And Judge, before Ms. Riker leaves, I had in my notes that the Ortiz case was set for today, that when we had that hearing, that our permanency after final order would be entered today. And I don't believe we even have the orders entered for our final order, even after the motions and for entry of order were filed. And so we have Miss Rebecca up at the CPS office on Zoom. We're ready to be on Zoom. And so I think there was some confusion as to whether or not that was set today.
Can I respond to that?
I hope so.
I have no notice was not put on my file, and I haven't been able to, or I didn't even attempt to communicate with my client before this morning because it wasn't on my calendar. There was a service plan that was filed 3 days ago that I haven't even looked at because it wasn't on my calendar. I'm not ready to proceed on that case.
All right. I want to ask one question. Am I just hanging around here for the fun of it? We've got to have, if we're going to have this many cases, we've got to have a system that allows everybody to know exactly what case is set. I don't care whose problem it is, whether it's ours or the department's. It is one of it's either departments or it's our problem. And so, Ms. Rankin, we got to get together. And if your staff is going to call my staff, your staff is going to have to notify you, and it's going to have to start being in writing now, because if a phone call that confirms what is supposedly set, and then we find out that that's not what's set or other things are set, that's not going to do. That doesn't give the parties or the attorneys an opportunity to prepare. So we'll work on that. So it's not said, it cannot be said.
And I think, Judge, where the confusion is, and I certainly will take responsibility because I don't believe I informed Dolores, but when we have had resets that are just announced in open court, I don't think that Kayla or Dolores is getting notice of those. And so they're probably just confirming the cases pursuant to what the court orders stated and not what was addressed in court. And so I will make sure that.
All right. We'll work on that. Martinez.
Yes, is Paul in the waiting room?
Who?
Paul.
Paul who?
I believe. Let me pull the order back up.
Paul Garcia?
Yes.
We could have just guessed a name and probably gotten that one.
Yeah.
I do not have, I have a Samantha Rodriguez, and a Patricia Morales. I do not have a Paul. And I do not know who those people are.
Patricia Morales is with Ezra Gutierrez. She's placement.
Okay, thank you. Who is Samantha Rodriguez?
She is a to engage caseworker that's at the CPS office with Ms. Ortiz.
With Ms. Ortiz?
Well, what Rebecca May Ortiz.
Is Ms. Ortiz at the CPS office?
Yes, sir.
And that's Ms. Faye's
Correct.
client?
Yes.
All right. So we want to tell her she's excused and we'll reset it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I don't want to be a part of that. Y'all can do that.
Yeah, I'll talk to my client. I'm assuming that the caseworker got her to the office, but I had no part in that. She wasn't informed by my office of today's.
I understand. Who is Samantha?
That's a to engage caseworker that has Miss Ortiz May.
I've got Samantha and Samantha Rodriguez, two separate ones.
They could be on two separate screens up at the CPS office because I've asked that they make computers available.
Okay. Then let me move so Ms. Fay and Mr. Keith can not have to hang around any further just for the fun of it. But I don't have anything indicating Paul Garcia is joining us or trying to join us by Zoom.
I didn't anticipate that he'd be present, but he would be the only other person that we would need. And so if we can go forward in his absence, that would be great.
Okay, he's not present. All right, I call cause number 26,972. The case styled in the interest of Rosario A. Martinez Avila, a child. This is a status hearing. Ms. Rankin, on behalf of the department, are you ready to proceed?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Keith, you represent Maria Celeste Martinez. Are you ready to appear? Are you ready to proceed?
Judge, because she is not here and because I haven't had contact with her, I announce not ready.
All right. Because efforts have been made to contact her, both, my understanding, both by you and the department, and to engage, I'm going to note your inability to be able to be in touch with her, and I'm going to proceed. Ms. Fay, you're the ad litem for the child. Are you ready to proceed?
Present and ready, Your Honor.
Ms. Ms. Rankin, you may proceed.
Department calls Kelsey Zimmerman.
Ms. Zimmerman, would you raise your right hand and be sworn? Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you may give in this cause shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Before we go forward, thank you, Ms. Riker, for hanging around with us for the fun of it. You may be excused. I'm going to beat that horse till it's dead.
Thank you.
All right. Go ahead, Mr. Rankin.
Can you state your name?
Kelsey Zimmerman.
And are you the case manager for this child?
Yes, I'm the supervisor over this case and case manager.
Okay. When's the last time you had any contact with the respondent mother?
Maria had called me about 3 weeks ago, and I hadn't spoken to her at least a month and a half, and I haven't spoken to her since.
When's the last time she made a visitation with the child?
It's been a while. I think before Christmas.
And is that also the last time that she had visitation with the children that she has with Juan?
Yes. She actually hadn't seen those since before she had the baby in November. So excuse me, not yes, it's no. Before November is when she saw that.
Okay. And has she worked any of the services on her service plan?
No, when she had Rosario, we stopped counseling for a little bit so she can medically be, able to drive to counseling. I set that back up and she hasn't been to any counseling sessions or done any drug testing for me.
When's the last time she did drug test?
I want to say December 8th. December 8th or 12th is when she drug tested last.
And so have you requested that she drug test since then and she's not complied?
Yes.
Are you asking this court to find that she's not in compliance with her service plan?
Yes.
For Paul Garcia, what contact, if any, have you had with him?
I have tried to call him, leave voicemails. I've texted. The time that I did talk to Maria a couple of weeks ago, I asked her if there's anybody that I can get in contact to talk to him. She said she does not speak to him, but that she'll relay the message. And of course, I hadn't spoken to Maria since that conversation, but I've even spoken to people that I know in Snyder, like with Juan's case and placement that Rosario is in, if they know where Paul is, and nobody knows any way of getting a hold of him. So it's been very difficult trying to find him.
Has a service plan been created for Paul?
Yes, and it's been filed.
And has he started any of the services on his plan?
No.
Where's the child placed?
The child is placed with Maria's family in Snyder, Texas.
And how's the child doing in the placement?
He's doing really well. They call me and tell me that about his doctor's appointments. He goes to all of his doctor's appointments. He's very well on target for his age. It's a good placement for him. They love him just like their own. So it's a very good placement for Rosario.
Are there any medical concerns that need to be addressed or approved by the court?
No.
Pass the witness.
Mr. Keith, do you have any questions?
No, Your Honor, I do not. Pass the witness.
Ms. Fay?
No questions.
All right, thank you. Do you have any other witnesses?
No, sir, the department is.
Mr. Keith, do you have any questions? I mean, do you have any witnesses?
No, Your Honor, we rest.
Ms. Fay, do you have any questions? Any witnesses?
No, Your Honor.
All right. All right, the court continues the appointment of the department, approves the placement, finds that neither parent is participating in services, that they're not in compliance with services. Is there anything else, Ms. Rankin, you can think of?
Yes, Judge, that the respondent mother be ordered to give the department 24 hours notice of an intent to exercise visitation.
Any objection, Mr. Keith?
Let's see. No, sir. I don't think that's objectionable.
Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
The
Yes.
judge lost himself. He's going to get back on. I just now turned my volume up, so I don't know if y'all said anything.
Thank you, Terry.
To finish.
I was asking Mr. Keith, do you have any objections to that last request?
No, Your Honor, I do not.
All right, I approve that in the orders stated. Anything further, Ms. Rankin?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Ms. Fay?
No, sir.
And those will be the orders of the court, and we'll be in recess in that case.
May I be excused, Your Honor?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Mr. Keith, are you in the Gutierrez case?
No, sir, I'm not.
You're welcome to hang around, but you also may be excused.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. Let me get a file and see what I can do. Thank you. What is the status of the parents in the Ezra Gutierrez child?
Judge, this parents don't have contact with the department. The last time that I met with the parents was in the jury room at court, and they were wanting to relinquish their rights. I've had no contact with them since then.
Did they appear for a hearing after service?
They did appear, both.
And did we give them notice of this setting?
Judge, my worker's trying to get on so she can answer questions.
I'm sorry, say that again.
My worker is trying to get on so she can answer any questions.
Okay. Who is your worker? Which one?
Vanessa Hamilton. I just sent her the link.
Okay.
And Miss Morales is still in the waiting room. She's placement.
In this case?
Yes.
All right, I'm bringing her in. But, okay.
Thank you.
I have info that notice was given to the parents of this hearing. Ms. Morales, can you hear us? Ms. Morales, can you hear us? Okay, there. Ms. Morales, can you hear us?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. Ms. Zimmerman, your worker hasn't signed in yet.
Okay, we can just go ahead and go on.
All right. I call cause number 26,897. The case is styled in the interest of Ezra Gutierrez, a child. This is a permanency hearing regarding this child. This hearing is being conducted by remote video teleconferencing technology and is being live streamed on the court's YouTube channel in order to comply with Texas Supreme Court orders and mandates, as well as those directives of the Office of Court Administration. The court orders that no one record any portion of this proceeding in any manner, whether by electronic means or otherwise. Except for the official court reporter who is transcribing this proceeding, just like he would do so if we were in an in-person hearing. With that, is the department ready to proceed, Ms. Rankin?
Yes, sir.
The record will reflect that the parents, Haley Hernandez and Santos Gutierrez, have not appeared, have not made any effort to notify the court of their desire to appear so as to receive the Zoom instructions that would allow them to appear. They have been served in this cause and made an initial appearance previously. So, and they were in fact notified by the court of this proceeding. So they are in default. Ms. Brooks, you are also present. Are you ready to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Rankin, you may proceed.
Yes, department calls Vanessa Hamilton.
Ms. Hamilton, would you raise your right hand and be sworn in as a witness? Whoops, Ms. Hamilton, are you able to hear us?
Yes.
Would you raise your, you're not moving very quickly this morning. It may be because your screen is frozen. All right, let me do it this way. Ms. Hamilton, have you raised your right hand? We are having a Zoom problem with Ms. Hamilton's audio and actually her video as well. All I have is a screen where she appears to be frozen, as that electronic expression is understood. Yes, ma'am.
Do I need to leave out and try to come back in? Because you frozen on my screen as well.
Let's try using the audio. Are you able to hear me? Apparently, Ms. Hamilton cannot hear either. Or if she can, she cannot communicate that back. So, Ms. Hamilton, let's let you try to re-enter. I'm going to remove you, or you can remove yourself, and we'll try to let you re-enter. Ms. Rankin, is there anyone else that you would like to call as a witness?
Department calls Kelsey Zimmerman.
Ms. Zimmerman, would you raise your right hand and be sworn? Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you may give in this cause shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Go ahead.
Can you state your name?
Kelsey Zimmerman.
Are you the to engage supervisor for the child, Ezra Gutierrez?
Yes.
Okay. When is the last time to engage has had any contact with either parent?
I don't believe Vanessa has had any contact with the parents.
Is that since court?
Yes.
Have service plans been filed in this case?
Yes.
Do you know whether or not either parent is in compliant with their service plans?
They are not.
Have they worked any services at all?
No.
Where is the child currently placed?
The child is placed with the grandmother.
And how is the child doing in that placement?
The child's needs are all met and they're doing fine in that placement.
Do you know when the last time either parents had visitation with the child?
I don't believe that they have had any visitation.
Are you asking this court to find that both parents are not in compliance with their service plans?
Yes.
Are you asking the court to approve the current placement?
Yes.
Pass the witness.
Ms. Brooks, do you have any questions?
No questions, Your Honor.
And let me just ask Ms. Zimmerman, is Patricia Morales the grandparent where the child is placed?
Yes.
And Ms. Morales has joined us here in this virtual courtroom by Zoom. Is that right?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Ms. Morales. All right, Ms. Rankin, you may call your next witness.
Department calls Patricia Morales.
Ms. Morales, would you raise your right hand and be sworn? Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you may give in this cause shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you. You may lower your hand. Go ahead.
Can you state your full name?
Patricia Morales?
And are you the placement for Ezra Gutierrez?
Yes, ma'am.
What is your relationship with the child?
I'm her grandmother.
Okay. Are you her grandmother through Haley or through Santos?
Through Haley.
When's the last time you've had contact with Haley?
She came by on her other daughter's birthday on January the 7th.
Are you the placement for any of her other children?
Oh, not through CPS, no.
How often does Haley come for visitation with Ezra?
None.
And has she or Santos provided you with any type of monetary support or support in kind, such as bringing over diapers or formula or clothing?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
Okay. And is it your intention to raise this child?
Yes.
And you wish to be considered as a permanent placement for the child?
Yes.
Can you make sure that anytime either Haley or Santos comes by for visitation, that you let the caseworker, Ms. Hamilton, know that they've come by? And can you also provide either Ms. Hamilton or Ms. Zimmerman with the most current information that you have for Haley and Santos?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And have you had any contact with Santos since the birth of the child?
No, ma'am.
Pass the witness.
Ms. Brooks, do you have any questions of this witness?
Ms. Morales, Haley's doing great with you in placement. Is that right?
You said Haley.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. Ezra is doing great with you as placement. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Are you seeking any monetary compensation from Haley or Santos to care for? No? Okay. And if Haley ever stopped by, you wouldn't let her into the house generally because you know that she's required for supervised visitation. Is that right?
That's right.
Okay. No further questions.
Thank you. Anything further, Ms. Rankin?
No.
Thank you, Ms. Morales. Do you have any other witnesses, Ms. Rankin?
No, sir. The department rests.
Ms. Brooks, do you have any witnesses you wish to call?
No witnesses, Your Honor.
All right. I continue the appointment of the department as conservator of the child. I approve the placement of the child with Ms. Morales and order it continued. I find that neither parent has engaged in services and they have not completed services. Anything else, Ms. Rankin, you can think of?
How many, just a quick question for Ms. Morales, would be how many other children of Haley's are in your home?
I have a Nyla, which is my 4-year-old grandbaby.
I apologize. I couldn't understand that. Would you say that again?
I have one more. Her name is Nyla. She's 4 years old, and she stays with me as well.
Good. I thought you, I did misunderstand. I thought you said I have 9 others.
Oh.
And that was going to be a concern. All right. Anything else, Ms. Rankin, in the order?
No, sir.
All right. Then that will be the orders of the court. and we will be in recess in the Ezra Gutierrez case. And I think that concludes everything I have. But if you can hang on, Ms. Rankin, let me visit with you for just a moment. Can you do that?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Hamilton, thank you for continuing to try, but we're through this morning. She's frozen again.
Still frozen.
Must be cold where you are.
She's in Snyder.
That's a cold-hearted place, but all right. Thank you, Ms. Morales. You may be excused, and I'll take care of that for you.
Okay.
And likewise, Ms. Zimmerman, thank you.
Thank you.
And Ms. Brooks, thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Yes, ma'am. Christine, would it be possible for us?
Are we
to-
still streaming, Judge?
Pardon?
Are we still
yes.
streaming on YouTube?
I was trying to cut that out.